Welcome back. Time now for Leo Unleashed, where I normally drag my backside out the studio and travel all around the UK to see what life is like in your communities. Unfortunately, this week I didn't have a chance to get out and about on the streets of Britain because I was lucky enough to go to Japan on holiday and only arrived back a few days ago. It's a beautiful country in more ways than one. The cherry blossoms were amazing. Here they are in full bloom. Lovely colour everywhere. This is a shot from, where was that? That was Tokyo. But everywhere from Tokyo to Kyoto, Osaka and beyond, they were in full bloom. And here I am appreciating the very special cherry blossom season. And I even had some fun on an e-bike on the Tokyo roads, very cultured, weaving in and out of traffic. But anyway, I'd like to talk about Japan more with the panel in just a second. It's an unbelievable place that we could learn a lot from, including to do with migration and preserving society and culture. But there was one downfall when, to my surprise, I came across this lot ruining the scenery in Tokyo. Oh no. Here we go. Central Tokyo in Japan. You can't get away from it. I thought escaping to Japan I'd get away from this. There we go. Now, it's funny. Free Palestine. Stop Gaza. Genocide. Don't kill. No more war. Glory to the martyrs. I dare. How many Palestine babies have you killed? What does that mean? How many Palestine babies have you killed?
That means how many babies have you killed? Has Israel
Who, me?
killed?
Who are you asking? Oh, Israel. Oh, okay. How many have Hamas killed?
None, actually.
None.
Whereas Israel has killed over 15,000 children.
According to...
You clearly don't care, though. According to all the people I know in Gaza, because I'm from Gaza.
Yeah, okay. But so the health authority in Gaza. Is that right? I'm just asking where these stats
And then you're
Human
going to
Rights
say,
Watch, the UN, many
Hamas is the health ministry.
UN,
wow,
right?
you're so smart.
You're very passive aggressive. I'm just asking you a question.
You came in with your phone in our face saying,
yeah, I'm a journalist.
What babies?
I'm a journalist.
You're a journalist.
Sorry,
Go do your job then.
Which journalist? Which
I'm a journalist.
Go do your job.
I work for TIT News TV channel in the UK.
Ooh, wow. Then why don't you do your
job? You can go back to the complicit media.
Why are you being so aggressive?
Why do you talk to us?
Well, you're standing in the street protesting, so I asked you a question.
Yeah.
Israel has been killing Palestinians.
Why are you getting aggressive?
Since before
Because you're an
Hamas
asshole.
even
You
existed.
guys-
You're being an asshole
So
to
I
us,
don't
so
want
we're being
your
aggressive.
bullshit.
You guys-
We're defending
Snarky
ourselves.
bullshit.
It's not a good look when you
Yeah, I
abuse
don't give a
people.
about what you
we don't
think.
need
to
I don't care about what you think.
We don't want to look
Very
good for
impressive.
We
you.
don't give a about what you think.
Okay, they're cursing me and shouting me. I don't know.
Oh, they're cursing me, shouting
God,
me.
no.
That's
Very
fine.
strange.
Go, Habibi, be a victim
Very
somewhere.
strange. Everywhere around the world, anywhere you go, they get aggressive, they shout,
Yeah.
they
You're
abuse,
aggressive now.
pointing
Because you're
fingers.
wrong.
I can be in England, I could be in America, I could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Aggressive, shouting. I'm walking off. I'm walking away.
Yeah.
I'm walking away, brother.
Keep going.
I'm with my friends, actually.
We don't give a about your friends.
I'm
Come
walking
here,
away.
you provoke people who
Why
are
are you so
dying.
aggressive?
Off.
You need to calm down. You're very angry.
No, you need to
Look at you guys, angry guys. So Japan was amazing, apart from that lot. That guy at the end was grabbing my arm and literally shoving me off. I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment to see that. Anyway, I want to talk about Japan. Linda, you have, am I right in saying, you hope, don't mind me saying, your nieces are Japanese?
Yeah, I have a Japanese sister-in-law and 2 Japanese nieces.
Do you know what I found amazing about Japan? Everything was so spotlessly clean, everything was cohesive, everything works, everything was on time, the public transport, and
It's true,
the people, the Japanese people, whether they're street cleaners up to CEOs in the boardroom, they all dress impeccably, they take pride in their jobs, and they know their role. They all contribute equally to a cohesive society where people are polite, they respect each other, they preserve their culture. My concern is, though, Linda, they're announcing that they're taking 1 million migrants.
I think that's a much bigger problem for Japan than it is for many other countries, and it is a problem for many other countries. And the problem is that Japan has a very defined culture. I've been there twice to cover the Winter Olympics in Nagano and to cover a presidential trip by Bill Clinton.
Nice.
And so it was fascinating to actually get under the skin of society. And one of the reasons why I think you've talked about the negative birth rate they have, which is why they're thinking of bringing in immigrants, because they do not have a positive birth rate.
Yeah.
And that's because funny enough, Japanese society can be very unfair to women when it comes to working. What they decided to do, many women, was they decided just not to have babies.
Yeah.
They can have a career, and because they don't want to juggle, they don't have any babies. And that has been going on for 2 decades now. So you've got a very, very big demographic time bomb waiting to go off in Japan, and they've decided that this is a fast solution. But I can't help thinking that it's going to be a problem for Japanese culture, which has preserved itself so clearly and so distinctly for so long.
Yep.
It's sure to be a big problem.
Peter, is that a risk to Japanese culture, importing 1 million migrants when so far I think the most they've ever welcomed in a year is about 90,000?
Most definitely, but I have to commend you, young man,
Yeah.
for never being off duty, even when you're on holiday. You're a man after me own.
Why are they
and
always so
I love
aggressive?
that. Oh, the
Those people.
pro-Palestinian lot.
They are, I swear, they are paid for protesters who are dispersed all over the world. They have the same reaction. I literally went up to them and said, who's killing babies? And they said, Israel. And I said, well, Hamas have killed babies, no? That was it.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
And they
the
all get
reaction-
triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all get triggered and off they go. See, they're all a very unhappy mob, aren't they? They're always so grumpy and miserable, all that lunatic left lot of pro-Palestinian protesting clowns. They're really grumpy and really to be avoided at all costs, I think. But well done, you.
But luckily I had my mate with me who works in security. He's a big guy. He's about 6'2", and he's built like a you-know-what. But he was keeping a firm eye in the background. Paul, what's your take on Japan? Have you ever been? Can we learn anything from them in terms of migration? And by the way, can I ask you, is it too late for us to reverse the decline in our culture?
No, and I think that we can always learn from other countries, but I don't think we should copy and emulate them necessarily. There's good things in every country, and we need to get over the idea that we're the best in the world at everything, because we're not. But we can learn from other cultures. On the Palestinian demonstrators there, I mean, Lenin had a good phrase, which he described people like that as useful idiots, right? And they are the useful idiots. And any of those people, if they had been moved to Gaza, they wouldn't last 10 minutes, would they?
Well, that lady there in the clip said she was from Gaza, as she described it, from Gaza, but she had an LA accent, and
absolutely
I don't know what
rubbish.
she's doing in Tokyo.
I'll tell you what we could learn from the Japanese, though, because I did notice this, that because they've had this the negative birth rate for a while and they've had an ageing population for such a long time, they've done an incredibly good job in how they care for their elderly population.
Yeah.
So they have dementia nurses, they have dementia centres, they have community centres that involve older people.
And high levels of tax, paying for it all, of course,
They do, but they have done really, really well on that side, and we could learn from it.
But they're clearly not having enough nookie.
No, they're not. And do you know why? It's because I think it's a sweeping statement. I think it's because they're so advanced in technology. They have their heads buried in their phones all the time. The men, again, this is a sweeping statement. They're quite effeminate, and the women are quite shy. So I don't think it's a recipe for making babies.
It's partly what I said. Is women don't want to have babies because they don't.
Right, we've got to move on. More papers, or the first of the papers, coming out rather in just a second. Back in just a sec. This is Ben Leo tonight, only on GB News.